Well, I just got off a very cool live stream with JD over at the History Underground, and met a few content creators on there and just subscribed to their channels. It was a pretty cool time seeing that and doing that, and I decided I would get out here in the fields and just make a quick video about one of my favorite battlefields out here near the, I guess, the Prince George, Sussex County area. This battlefield here is called Reams Station's battlefield. And Reams Station's battlefield was the site of two major conflicts, and one of which was fairly costly for the Union Army out here at this railroad junction, where the Union was basically trying to destroy the railroad that was out here and capture territory like they had done so many times before. And I just heard a weapon go off. That was pretty cool. But realistically, what I'm trying to do is not capture the idea of what the battle was like or where people fought out here. I wanted to do a quick video to show you, if you're ever in the area, what you have available to see. Now, much of this land out here is thanks due in part to the American Battlefield Trust. Now, the Trust, as you can tell, I'm wearing the hat here of one of the color bearers, because I am one. The Trust basically gathers all the funds together, and in coordination with other efforts is able to acquire land that's pretty significant to the American Civil War and other battles, other wars. So this is one of those big pieces of land, tracts of land, that they have saved. And across the street's another piece of land they've saved as well. And this portion here has actually been developed so that you can come out here and sort of walk a cleared out path, if you will, across an open field and read some interpretive signs that tell you exactly what took place here. Now, on August 25th of 1864, North Carolina was heavily involved out here with the Battle of Reams Station. And out here on this field, there's not very many markers other than signs. There's only the one monument that's out here, and it is to the North Carolina Infantry that's out here. Lane's Brigade, 7th, 8th, 28th, 23rd, 27th, 13th, 16th, 22nd, 34th, 38th, 15th, 27th, 46th, 48th, 11th, 26th, 44th, 47th, 42nd. And then in the cavalry, they have Behringer's Brigade, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 5th. So these are just some of the men that were involved and participating here with the battle at Reams Station, and that were out here with Robert E. Lee's army in the Petersburg area for that last siege here in Petersburg. And as promised, this is that monument right here, right behind me. I'll try to move out so you can see it a little better, and then we'll get a better shot of this monument here from the forward-facing side, so you can see it a little better too. Now, moving right along here on this this battlefield walking tour, if you will, there's another sign up here that talks about the positioning of the Confederate soldiers, and essentially it tells us that the Confederate soldiers were all out in this area here behind us, facing in this direction, coming towards the battle lines over here. The Union Army would have been across that road, headed towards us here, and along this path, when you walk out here, you will actually see trench works, earthworks that are still up and visible today, all the way down to the new Medal of Honor sign that's at the very end over here. It's a pretty neat thing to see, and it's definitely worth the hike out here at Reams Station. Now, another neat thing to visit out here at the Reams Station is the Perkins family cemetery plot. That's it right there behind me. There used to be a farmhouse out here. I can't recall what time frame that farmhouse was out here, but the cemetery plot has been out here for quite a while, and the headstones still exist, and it's in this copse of trees out here on Reams Station's battlefield, or Reams Station battlefield. During the summertime, when it gets nice and hot out here, and the wheats or the weeds grow up nice and tall, they take this old farm equipment around and they chop down the weeds. They cut up the field a little bit so that you can see it a little bit better out here. I'm not sure if anyone is still tilling the ground and making it useful for a crop, but I do know on some American Battlefield Trust land sites, people still go out there and farm the fields to make it look like it used to look during the days of the American Civil War. But this really is a beautiful piece of land here in Virginia. So here we are at the end of this trail here at the Battle of Reams Station. Traffic passing by on the roadway right there beside me. Take a look at these signs. This sign here tells a story about Medal of Honor recipients in the area, and one particular here at the Second Battle of Reams Station. There's also a code that you can scan on your phone and get more information about it. It's pretty neat. That sign is right here next to those original earthworks I was telling you about earlier that's actually out on the battlefield. This was one of the fallback points and one of the deadliest spots out here on this field of battle at Reams Station. One can only imagine walking out here during the middle of that battle and seeing the battle lines heading in this direction and the firefight that happened across these fields. It's not a good place to be, that's for sure. But it's neat for us today to be able to walk these fields and see this stuff ourselves. Yeah. Hopefully there's more to come. As I walk this field out here, I'm reminded of a time that I first came out here and met Drew Gruber, who was with the Civil War Trails. And he had a few other folks out here with him, historians that were helping him install these signs. And I met one of the men that had been installing pretty much all of these signs, probably held a record for doing it. And I hopped on the back of the pickup truck and I bungled along the bumpy dirt out here all the way to the end. And at the time I was coming back from meeting with a bunch of students, and I was in a business suit, so it was kind of an odd scene out here on the field. But afterwards, it was a super hot day. Everybody was done with their work. They were wrapping up. It was the end of the day, kind of like right now. And we were all heading off in our separate directions. And I had only come out to see what they do. I'd never actually seen them in action before. And today, as I passed by a gas station, it's back in that direction, I was reminded of that situation. The bumping into Drew there at the gas station after all of this was over with. And it made me think, small moments like that in time, little things like that, they aren't really ever captured unless you talk about it. They live with the people that experience it. And though that meeting wasn't anything of significance other than I got to meet some new friends and check out what they do out here on these battlefields, when you think about it on the perspective of the Civil War, how many times did things like that happen during the American Civil War, where a couple of soldiers got together at a location, had a conversation, or had a meal together, and years and years later, they'd come back out to these fields, and they would remember those situations. Those memories would come back to them. But maybe they didn't speak about it, and maybe they didn't talk to people and tell them about it. And so those memories and those stories were never captured. It's things like this that really, when you preserve a battlefield like this, you're not just preserving a piece of land where a battle happened. You're also preserving a piece of land where many things happened that we don't even really know about. And that's really what makes this ground kind of, I don't know, sacred to a lot of people. And really, it's a story about us. It's a story about our ancestors that roamed these fields and fought those fights. And it's an amazing story. And that's why we tell it. Well, there you have it, folks. We roamed all of Reams Station. Nice little trail that takes you out here. A few signs. North Carolina Monument. Some earthworks. A very old couple of graves over here at a old family farmstead. It's just a beautiful place to visit. Wide open field. Right now it's hunting season out here. Hunting for deer. So if you get out here and you hear a bunch of gunshots go off, don't worry. It ain't the ghost of the Confederacy. We roam these fields from time to time, looking for stories about ourselves, where we came from. We roam these fields looking for things that only exist on paper now. But these fields, they are our link to the past. It's the thing that you can touch. The stories are told out here. If you'll stop and listen. If you'll stop and listen. These fields will tell you their stories. Just got to use your imagination. Until next time, this is History with Waffles.